You're in for an eye-opening tale about a luxury resort manager who learns a lesson she'll never forget after turning away an unexpected guest, Melania Trump. This story is filled with drama, suspense, and a powerful message about why judging by appearances can have serious consequences. The Aspen Royale Resort was more than just a luxury getaway, it was a world of exclusivity, nestled high in the snow-capped peaks of Aspen, Colorado. A five-star retreat reserved for the elite, it catered to high-profile guests ranging from tech moguls and Wall Street executives to Hollywood celebrities and political figures. Privacy was its greatest selling point, and the resort spared no expense in curating an atmosphere of seclusion, opulence, and meticulous service. Towering glass windows offered breathtaking views of the mountain range, while crackling fireplaces and hand-carved wooden accents gave the lodge an air of understated elegance. Every suite came with its own private ski access, personal concierge, and a chef capable of fulfilling any culinary whim. The guests who arrived here weren't just wealthy, they were the kind of people who never heard the word no. At the heart of this exclusive paradise was Olivia Carter, the guest relations director. She had spent years perfecting the resort's image, ensuring that every detail, from the imported silk napkins in the dining hall to the temperature of the lobby's crystal chandeliers, was in pristine condition. But more than anything, Olivia took pride in being the resort's gatekeeper. Only those who fit the profile of a high-net-worth individual were allowed through its doors. She had a sharp eye for spotting who belonged and who didn't, believing that maintaining an air of exclusivity was just as important as the luxury itself. Olivia lived by a simple rule: if you weren't on the reservation list, you weren't welcome. And in her years of managing the resort's clientele, she had never second-guessed herself. Until that one fateful afternoon. It was a crisp, clear day when a woman entered the lobby, her presence immediately disrupting Olivia's sense of order. She wasn't dressed like the usual guests. No extravagant furs, no obvious designer branding, just a simple winter coat, oversized sunglasses, and a quiet air of confidence. Olivia's instincts kicked in immediately. This woman didn't fit the mold, and without hesitation she made a decision that would later come back to haunt her in ways she never could have imagined. Olivia Carter had built her career on precision, control, and an unshakable commitment to maintaining the elite standards of Aspen Royale Resort. As the guest relations director, she wasn't just responsible for welcoming guests, she was the gatekeeper of exclusivity, ensuring that only the right kind of people gained entry into the resort's world of luxury. With piercing green eyes, a sleek auburn bob, and a wardrobe of perfectly tailored designer suits, Olivia exuded the same refined elegance as the establishment she managed. She was known for her impeccable attention to detail, her ability to anticipate a guest's needs before they even spoke, and, most notably, her strict adherence to policy. Her staff admired her professionalism, but they also feared disappointing her. Olivia demanded perfection, and anyone who failed to uphold the resort's pristine image quickly found themselves under her sharp scrutiny. She believed that the Aspen Royale wasn't just a retreat, it was an institution of status, where every guest was a symbol of wealth and power. To her, an invitation to the resort was a privilege, not a right. Those who failed to meet her high standards, whether in behavior, appearance, or pedigree, had no place within its walls. Years of working in luxury hospitality had sharpened Olivia's instincts. She prided herself on being able to identify who belonged and who didn't with a single glance. It wasn't just about money, it was about image, presence, and influence. So when the woman in the simple winter coat stepped inside that day, Olivia didn't hesitate. The woman lacked the outward markers of prestige Olivia was trained to recognize, and in Olivia's world, that meant only one thing: she didn't belong. It was a decision Olivia made with absolute certainty, never imagining that it would soon unravel everything she thought she knew about power, status, and respect. The lobby of Aspen Royale Resort exuded a hushed elegance, the kind that came with wealth so immense it no longer needed to announce itself. The scent of fresh pine and expensive leather lingered in the air, while a grand stone fireplace crackled warmly at the center of the room. Olivia Carter stood near the concierge desk, her keen eyes scanning every guest who entered. It was her silent ritual, observing, assessing, ensuring that every individual fit the standards of the resort. But when the main doors swung open, letting in a crisp gust of winter air, Olivia's attention locked onto the woman who stepped inside. She moved with a quiet confidence, dressed simply in a cream-colored wool coat that draped effortlessly over her slender frame. There were no ostentatious designer labels, no bold displays of wealth, just oversized sunglasses shielding her eyes and a presence that was somehow both understated and commanding. Her gloved fingers brushed against the sleeve of her coat as she walked further into the lobby, taking in the surroundings with a slow, deliberate gaze. To Olivia, something about the woman felt off. She wasn't the usual type. No personal assistant trailing behind her, no concierge making last-minute arrangements for a suite upgrade. There was an elegance to her, certainly, but it was quiet. Too quiet. Olivia had seen enough socialites, heiresses, and self-made billionaires parade through these doors to recognize who carried old money, who flaunted new money, and who was merely pretending to have any at all. This woman didn't fit neatly into any of those categories. The woman approached the front desk, her voice smooth and unhurried. "This is a beautiful resort," she said. "I'd love to take a look around." Her tone was neither demanding nor deferential. It was self-assured, as if she expected the request to be granted. But Olivia had already made up her mind. No reservations, no entourage, no visible proof that she belonged. Those were the telltale signs of someone who had wandered in out of curiosity, a window shopper in a world where everything had a price tag. Olivia straightened her posture, her professional smile tightening. "I'm sorry, ma'am," Olivia said, her voice firm but polite. "Aspen Royale is a private resort. We only accommodate guests with prior reservations." The woman paused, as if weighing her next words. Then, with a small nod, she replied, "I understand." But there was something in the way she said it, a quiet certainty, a sense that she knew something Olivia didn't, and for the first time in a long while, Olivia felt the slightest twinge of uncertainty. Olivia Carter had handled situations like this before. Guests who arrived without a reservation, without a name on the exclusive guest list, without the unmistakable air of someone who belonged. It was always the same, an apologetic refusal, a firm yet polite dismissal, and a swift return to business as usual. But as she stood before the woman in the cream-colored coat and oversized sunglasses, something about this encounter felt different. The woman remained composed, her lips curving into the faintest hint of a smile, as if she expected Olivia's resistance but found it amusing nonetheless. "I assure you I won't be long," she said, her voice carrying a quiet grace. "I just want to take a look around." There was no arrogance in her tone, no entitlement, just a simple request, spoken with the certainty of someone who is used to moving through the world with ease. But Olivia didn't waver. Rules were rules. The Aspen Royale had built its reputation on exclusivity, and she had spent years ensuring that only those who truly belonged walked through its doors. Letting in one unverified guest, even one as poised as this woman, could set a precedent, open a door Olivia wasn't willing to crack. "I'm afraid that won't be possible," Olivia said, her professional smile fixed in place. "Aspen Royale is a private establishment. Our guests expect complete discretion and exclusivity. If you'd like to arrange a future visit, we would be happy to schedule an appointment." For a moment the woman said nothing. Then she reached up, slowly lowering her sunglasses just enough for her piercing blue eyes to meet Olivia's. There was something eerily familiar about them, a glint of recognition that Olivia couldn't quite place. But just as quickly as she had revealed them, the woman slid her sunglasses back on. Without another word, she turned on her heel, her boots clicking softly against the marble floor as she made her way to the exit. She did not argue, did not protest. She simply left, her silence more unsettling than any confrontation could have been. And though Olivia had dismissed her with absolute certainty, she couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that she had just made a mistake. The next morning, Olivia Carter arrived at Aspen Royale Resort with the same unwavering confidence she carried every day. She had long perfected the art of maintaining control, ensuring that the resort's aura of exclusivity remained intact. The woman from the previous afternoon was already a distant memory, just another unqualified guest turned away, nothing more. Olivia had done her job, upheld the resort's standards and protected its image, or so she thought. As she made her way through the lobby, something felt off. There was a shift in the air, a quiet murmur beneath the usual polished efficiency of the staff. Employees whispered in hushed tones behind the front desk. A pair of guests, seated near the stone fireplace, leaned toward one another, exchanging words Olivia couldn't quite hear. The name, Melania Trump, drifted through the air like a sudden chill. Olivia barely had time to process it before Ben, one of her junior concierge assistants, hurried toward her, his face tight with urgency. "Did you hear?" he asked, his voice a mixture of disbelief and nervous energy. "Hear what?" Olivia frowned, irritated by the disruption. Ben hesitated, then glanced around before pulling out his phone. "The woman from yesterday, that was Melania Trump." The words didn't register at first. Olivia stared at the screen, where a news article had already begun circulating online. The headline was vague but damning. "Luxury resort turns away high-profile guest. A lesson in judging too quickly?" A customer had posted about the incident, hinting at a well-known figure being dismissed from a prestigious Aspen resort. It didn't take long for people to connect the dots. The comments section was buzzing, with users speculating, debating, and criticizing the resort's exclusivity policies. Some defended the strict reservation rules, but others condemned the treatment of a guest, especially one as famous and influential as Melania Trump. Olivia's stomach tightened. She had dismissed one of the most well-known women in the world without a second thought, and now the consequences were unfolding faster than she could control. Her mind raced. What if the story picked up traction? What if news outlets began naming the resort? The Aspen Royale prided itself on its image, and any negative press, even one small misstep, could taint its reputation for years. As the whispers among employees and guests grew louder, Olivia felt a rare and unfamiliar sensation creeping in: regret. For the first time in years, she wondered, had she let her own assumptions cloud her judgment? Had she been so focused on protecting exclusivity that she had forgotten the most important rule of hospitality? And worse, what if Melania Trump wasn't finished with Aspen Royale just yet? The tension in Aspen Royale Resort was already palpable by midday, but by the afternoon it reached an unbearable peak. The murmurs among the staff hadn't died down, and guests continued whispering about the Melania Trump incident as they sipped their champagne in the lounge. Olivia Carter had spent the entire morning attempting to contain the fallout, assuring staff that the situation would blow over and that they should continue operating as usual. But deep down, she knew better. Scandals like this didn't just disappear. They lingered, festered, and had the potential to ruin reputations. Then it happened. The grand entrance doors swung open, and an unnatural hush fell over the lobby. Every conversation, every movement, every breath seemed to pause. And there she was, Melania Trump, stepping into the resort once again. But this time, she wasn't alone. A small entourage followed close behind, a well-dressed personal assistant holding a sleek leather portfolio, two men in tailored suits who were unmistakably security personnel, and a poised woman who appeared to be her publicist. Behind them, a handful of photographers hovered just outside the glass doors, their camera flashes erupting in rapid succession. Olivia felt her pulse skyrocket. Melania's presence was magnetic, her effortless elegance making the luxurious surroundings seem almost ordinary in comparison. She wore a fitted black coat over a cashmere turtleneck, her signature sunglasses perched atop her head. Every movement was deliberate, every glance sharp with purpose. As she strode forward, the staff froze, guests turned in their seats, and Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She stopped just a few feet away, looking directly at Olivia. And then, with the same composed, unreadable expression she had worn during their last encounter, she spoke. "I'd like to take a look around now, is that allowed?" The words hung in the air, heavier than any reprimand Olivia had ever received. It wasn't a demand, wasn't aggressive. It was calm, controlled, and undeniably powerful, the kind of statement that held the weight of both authority and irony, cutting deeper than any public spectacle ever could. For the first time in her career, Olivia felt completely powerless. She had spent years ensuring that she commanded every room, every interaction, every decision. But now, standing before the woman she had so carelessly dismissed, she realized that she was no longer in control. Melania was. Swallowing the lump in her throat, Olivia did the only thing she could do. She nodded stiffly and stepped aside. A silent ripple of reactions passed through the lobby, guests pretending to browse but stealing glances, staff exchanging wide-eyed looks, and Olivia's own employees waiting to see how she would handle this unexpected shift in power. As Melania began to walk through the resort, her entourage keeping a respectful distance, Olivia remained frozen in place, and with every step Melania took, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't just here to look around, she was here to teach her a lesson. The air in Aspen Royale Resort felt heavier with each passing moment as Melania Trump moved through its grand hallways, her every step a silent reminder of the mistake Olivia Carter had made. The once lively conversations among guests had dulled to hushed whispers, and even the staff, so well trained in discretion, couldn't help but steal glances at the unfolding spectacle. Olivia, still rooted to the same spot near the entrance, felt a growing sense of unease. This wasn't a casual visit. Melania wasn't just here to look around, she was here to be seen. Then, the moment arrived. Melania stopped in front of the resort's high-end boutique, an ultra-exclusive shopping space reserved for only the wealthiest clientele. Inside, glass display cases sparkled under warm lighting, showcasing an array of handcrafted jewelry, limited-edition winterwear, and accessories from elite designers. The room was silent as she examined the boutique's most prized piece, a stunning diamond necklace set in platinum, designed exclusively for Aspen Royale's VIPs. Without a word, she lifted a hand and pointed toward it. The boutique associate, a young woman named Emily, hesitated before stepping forward, unsure of whether to speak. Before she could say a word, Melania turned slightly, not to her assistant, not to her security detail, but to Olivia. "What do you think?" The question cut through the room like ice. Olivia's throat tightened. She knew this wasn't about the necklace. It was about everything that had led to this moment. The dismissal, the assumptions, the realization that Olivia had judged someone by appearance, failing to recognize the very essence of what true power looked like. The entire boutique seemed to be waiting for her answer. Every guest, every employee, every silent onlooker was hanging on to the moment. But Olivia had nothing to say. At least, nothing that would undo what had already been done. She managed a stiff nod, forcing out a hollow, "It's a beautiful piece." Melania didn't linger on Olivia's response. Instead, she turned back to the associate with a graceful nod. "I'll take it." As Melania Trump walked out of Aspen Royale Resort, her presence still echoed in the air, leaving behind an unshakable lesson. Olivia Carter remained near the boutique, staring down at the envelope Melania had handed her, a generous check meant for the staff, a stark contrast to the quiet but pointed reprimand she had just received. Respect isn't about status. It's about how you treat people when you don't know who they are. The realization stung, but Olivia knew she had been given something rare, a second chance, and this time she vowed to lead not with exclusivity, but with grace. The story of Olivia Carter and Melania Trump at Aspen Royale Resort serves as a powerful lesson in humility, respect, and the dangers of judging by appearance. Olivia, a seasoned hospitality professional, prided herself on maintaining exclusivity, believing that status and wealth were always outwardly visible. However, her swift dismissal of a woman she deemed unimportant led to an unexpected reckoning, one that exposed her biases and shook her sense of control. The moment Melania Trump returned, poised and unshaken, Olivia was forced to confront the truth. True power isn't flaunted. Nor does it demand recognition, it commands respect through presence and composure. The silent yet impactful way Melania handled the situation proved that status doesn't exempt someone from courtesy, and assumptions can be costly. The real lesson lies in the value of treating every individual with dignity, regardless of their appearance or perceived social standing. Olivia's mistake wasn't just turning away a high-profile guest, it was failing to uphold the core principle of hospitality, making people feel valued. Her transformation by the end of the story is a reminder that redemption comes not from avoiding mistakes, but from learning and growing from them.